What's up, everybody? It's Spencer Hoyt here for you today. And today, I had a lot of people asking me a couple questions about how to help other people who have mental illness problems. And so, without further ado, let's get into it, and I'll see you guys in a bit. So, I just wanted to apologize really quick because I actually just got done going to the gym. I wanted to film a quick video for you guys, and so instead of coffee this time, I got my Gatorade. Please sponsor me. Just kidding, no. The one thing that I wanted to talk about today, and the one thing that I've been getting a lot of questions about on TikTok, on Instagram, and other people have been asking me, Spencer, how do I help someone who is struggling mentally? Simply because a lot of these people who have friends who have any sort of mental illness don't necessarily how to help their friends, if that makes sense. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about how I personally help other people with mental illness problems and how I go about doing it. And the number one thing that I always tell people to do when it comes to helping other people with their mental illness problems is to not help them. And I'm sure a lot of people watching the video right now are like, excuse me? And I'll explain, don't worry. The reason why I tell people not to help them is because a lot of people's idea of helping other people with mental illness problems is very skewed. They either don't necessarily know how to help that person the right way, or they are too upfront with it, and that usually, ends up hurting the person who has mental health problems more than actually helping them. And so the second thing I always tell people to do, other than to not help them in the way that they think is beneficial for that individual, is to just be there for that person. I've personally found that when I am a good friend with someone else, or I'm an acquaintance with someone else, and I notice that they're really struggling with whether it be an eating disorder, whether it be self-harm, depression, any sort of mental illness, the best thing that you can do for them is to simply just be their friend and to be there for them. And the reason why I think this helps people so much is because when they know that they have someone who they can go to, who they can trust, who they can, basically someone that they can always run to when they are facing really hard trials, really hard problems, then that makes them feel more safe. That makes them feel more secure. And so a lot of the time what ends up happening is if you let someone know, hey, I noticed that you might be going through a hard time. I just wanted to let you know that I'm here for you. And if you need anything, don't hesitate to call me, to text me, to talk about it, and just be there for them, be there and be their friend, if that makes sense. Now, the reason why you don't want to come onto the person extremely hard when it comes to helping people with mental illness problems is because a lot of people get turned off by this. A lot of people who have specific mental illness problems, when they see someone coming to them, asking them all these questions, being very upfront with it when they're normally a very reserved, shy person, it makes them freak out. It either gives them anxiety, makes them not want to talk to people about it, makes them either feel guilty or maybe even ashamed that they have these problems. And so I've noticed that if I came to someone and was like, hey, I noticed you have a lot of self-harm scars, like I do too, for me, that would be fine because I'm at a point in my life where I can talk about my problems like that in a very forward, a very aggressive manner, if that makes sense. Whereas other people are, maybe they just started going to counseling, maybe they haven't even gone to counseling, maybe they've never even talked to anyone else about their mental health problems, And so you got to understand that people are in different phases of conquering their mental illness problems, if that makes sense. And so that's why I just highly suggest, being their friend, telling them, whatever you're dealing with in a very friendly, loving way, that you are there for them. You're there with them, if that makes sense. Sorry, Gatorade break. Now, the next thing that I tell people to do, after you've let that person know that you're their friend and that you're always there for them, once they start to confide in you, once they start to maybe share their story a little bit, very non-aggressively, maybe suggest them to start going to counseling. There's been many instances where, people have come to me and they've said, oh, I've been dealing with this, and this for years and years and years. And it's really hard. And like, I've always tried to get through it on my own. And at that point, when I know that they're confiding in me, I know that I can look at them and say, what I've done personally, and a lot of other people that have been helped by this, is going to counseling and taking medication. And so I think that encouraging people to get help without pushing them, without saying, if you don't get help, I'm going to be really mad, or I'm going to be frustrated in you, or we can't be friends or something if you don't figure this out. But just slightly encouraging people, if you seek counseling, if you seek to better yourself, it's only going to get better. It's only going to get easier for you. And so those are usually the 3 steps that I tell people. Just a little bit of a recap. The first thing I tell people when it comes to helping other people with mental illness is to not help them, simply because individuals' ideas of how they can help other people usually are too aggressive for that person who's dealing with any sort of mental illness, and usually can be a huge turnoff for the person who's trying to get over those problems. And then the second thing is just to let that person know that you are there for them, that you're a friend, and that, no matter what they're going through, big or small, day or night, you're there for them. You're just a phone call away. I think this can be the most beneficial thing when it comes to helping other people who are dealing with any sort of mental illness problem, is just knowing that there's someone that they can confide in. And then the third thing, and the last, is when you get to a point where you're in a relationship with that person, where they're confiding in you, they're talking to you about maybe their problems, and you're trying to help them as best you can, to help them seek professional help through counseling or through medication. And I think encouraging people to do this final step will help them create new goals, help them understand that they don't have to deal with their problems alone anymore. They don't have to deal with their problems by themselves. They can actually turn to other people and the resources that there are out there in order to get better, in order to feel mentally safe. And so I kind of wanted to just make a short video for you guys and just let you know what exactly I personally do to help other people with their mental illness problems. Like I said before, it's very non-aggressive. It's very loving and caring. You have to go about this in a very respectful way, just because, like I said before, everyone's on a different path and everyone's at a different leg in that journey, if that makes sense. And so if you push people, they might not be ready, they might be turned off to that. And so if you just relax and help people little by little, I think that would honestly make all the difference. But I want to hear what you guys think. I want to know what you guys personally do to help other people, and what you guys have done in the past to help other people who have any sort of mental illness problems. And so comment down below. I'm going to respond to everyone's comments. I love seeing your guys' comments, just because I like knowing what's going through your guys' minds. And then also, if you could just smash the like button, I'd really appreciate it a lot. It really helps me out a lot with the YouTube algorithm. I'm trying to make my messages go viral so that I can help more and more people, and that I can hopefully eventually do this full time. And so, like I said before, please comment down below. Please give this video a like. You guys are the best. Seriously, you guys are incredible, and I hope you never forget that. And I appreciate you guys watching this video and always giving me support and love. And so I thank you very much, and I love you all, and I'll talk to you guys soon.